everybody, this is Pampered Chef Kathy coming to you again from my very pampered kitchen, and I'm going to show you 2 recipes today for zucchini. My cousin Lisa gave me this amazing zucchini, which is absolutely huge, and I want to use a lot of it, so I'm going to make 2 of my family's favorite recipes today, which is zucchini pie and zucchini bread. We're going to do them together so that I can cut up that whole zucchini, and it's going to be an easy way to show you how to kind of multitask, do 2 things at once. We're going to use a few different of my tools and my pans, which I'm going to show you all about as we work the recipe, but if my daughter who's taping can pan over, these are the tools that we're going to use today, including some of our brand new tools, which I am going to show you, which is our, well, my most brand new tool. This is our veggie strip maker. This is actually part of our new fall products, which is available September 1st, but this is available August 1st in a set with our brand new Season's Best, and I want to show you guys how to use this because it's an amazing piece. We're also going to use one of our newer pieces of stoneware. This is our large stoneware pan with handles, and this is great for large casseroles. This is a set that comes in 3 sizes. It comes in a small casserole, a shallow baker, which is bigger but shorter, and also matches our large white round stone with handles. And then if you come over here, very simple ingredients we're going to be using: onions, Parmesan cheese, baking soda, baking powder, our different seasonings, flour, Bisquick, and I'm going to show you how everything goes into each recipe. We are going to put each recipe together separately, and then we're going to cook them together. Hi, so we're back, and I am all set to start my first recipe, which is zucchini pie. So I have all my ingredients out, and I like to pre-measure my ingredients before I cook. Some people don't, they measure as they go. I find it a little bit easier this way. So all my tools are out. My ingredients are out. I'm going to go over the recipe with you. As I always tell everyone when they watch my videos, I always recommend to have a stand close by for your recipe so it's easy for you to see. So the first thing we need to do, this recipe calls for 2 onions. I'm doubling the recipe, by the way, because I have a huge zucchini. So the recipe calls for 2 onions and 6 cups of zucchini. So I'm going to show you how to use a couple of my favorite tools, and then I'm going to do the rest off camera. So this is our veggie wedger, one of our most popular items, and what we're going to do with this is we are not going to peel our onion. We're just going to take our utility knife and we're just going to cut the ends off of our onion. We're going to put it right onto our veggie wedger. We're going to line it up. There are grooves in the bottom, as you can see, so you can line up the blade. And we're going to go right through that onion. And then, very easy, we're just going to peel the pieces off of the onion right before we chop it. See how easy that is? So much easier than cutting the onion, trying to slice into the skin, peeling the skin, and less tears as well, because peeling the onion is one of the things that causes the most tears when you're doing that. So we're going to do our first onion. I'm using my flexible cutting mat, and you'll see why in just a moment. This is our food chopper. I don't think I ever have to explain what this is, but I always do anyway. This is going to chop your food, and if you watch it, the blade will rotate as I chop, so it's going to give you nice small pieces. Now, my family likes the onion not completely missing, not chopped that small. They like decent pieces, but not huge either. So we're just going to start chopping. And like I tell everybody, when you use your food chopper, you want to use a good firm hit on the chopper. You don't want to try to do this because that's not going to give you the force. So I always liken it to, if you're angry at your husband or your kids, take it out on the food chopper. And you're going to get your onions cut to whatever consistency you like them. And again, I need 2 onions, but I'm only going to cut up 1 right now. I'll cut up the other one off camera. So we're going to take now our flexible cutting mat. As you can see, I turn the cutting mat. I'm going to put this in my large prep bowl, and I'm going to pull my onion into it. I don't have to worry about the onion flying all over the room because I'm using a hard cutting board and I'm trying to get it off. Oops, drop my knife. And then I'm going to pull all of that right into there. So we'll do the other onion after. Now I'm going to put this aside, and it has a cap like this, so if you will need to stop in the middle of doing something, you can cap it so all that onion aroma doesn't create even more tears. So I'm going to put the flexible cutting mat for the onion aside. Now this is a very exciting time for me because I'm using this for the first time also. And I thought that I would try it before I demo it, but I really think just to show you how easy it is to use this piece, I'm going to do it the very first time I show it to you. So my utility knife's going to be a little bit small to cut through this. So I'm going to take a bread knife and I'm going to just cut my zucchini. I don't want to slice it all the way down because that'll give me spaghetti strips, and I'm making a zucchini pie, so I don't want them to be that big. So I'm going to cut it in thirds. So I'm going to cut it here and here. Let's see what a big zucchini this is. It's hard to get the knife through it. Put my knife aside where it's safe. And my family likes the zucchini peeled. You don't have to peel your zucchini. That's just personal preference. This is our serrated peeler. Notice it comes with a cover because it's very sharp. The serrated peeler is great for peeling anything with a thick skin like zucchini, like mangoes. So you're just going to pull it down and look how beautifully that's going to peel this piece of zucchini. And I'm just going to peel this 1/3 of this right now. See how easy that? I'm barely pressing on it. And you know how with some peelers you have to press down really hard just to get the skin off. And this is so easy. It literally glides right over the skin. And I'm going to go back here. And that is just super, super fast. And I'm just going to cut off the tip because that's me. The other thing I'm going to do, because this is such a very big zucchini, I'm going to cut it in half before I slice it. So I'm going to come down here. Normally you're going to get a zucchini that's going to be a lot. My daughter's laughing at me. That's going to be a lot smaller. So now I'm going to take, sorry, it's in my drawer and I had it out. I'm just going to take my classic batter bowl and I'm going to set up my stripper. Okay, and it's got a wonderful piece that goes right over your bowl. And all we're going to do is do a back and forth motion like this. See, I'm still a little wide on this zucchini. I'm going to cut it again.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, and you're just going to go forward and back. Now, as I said, guys, I have never done this before. You see how easy that is? I'm just going to go back and forth. You don't have to go one direction. You can cut an average zucchini in 38 seconds. Al, you got this? How it's going into the bowl? It's plastic, so it's not super sharp. It's not going to hurt you if your fingers graze over it. Look how quick this goes right through the zucchini. I'm going to be able to go almost all the way down to the end with this. And I'm super excited about this. As I said, and I do swear with my daughter in the room, I have not tried this. This is my very first time using this. Look at those beautiful strips of zucchini. There is so much you can do with strips of any vegetable like this. You can make soups. You can use zucchini as noodles if you want to make a healthier pasta dish. So I'm now going to off camera finish the rest of this. But I just wanted to show you how very simple it is. In fact, I'm going to show you this next piece too, just because now I'm having fun. Also, if you don't want to put it over a bowl, it's got these little feet here. So you can put it there and you can just go down like that if you just want to put it on your cutting board. Of course, I prefer to do it over the bowl, but you can see, but you can see how nice they come out and how easy this is. And it opens you up to a lot more that you can do with zucchinis, with cucumbers, with carrots, with any type of vegetable that you can strip like this. You have so much more versatility now And again, because it's not so sharp, I'm just going to go right down to the very end of this. Can you see that? My hand in the way? See? I'm not cutting myself because it's not sharp like a mandolin. I can go right down to the edges of this. So, and there you have it. Is all my strips of zucchini. So I'm going to take a break right now, and I'm going to finish cutting my onions and cutting my zucchini, and then we will be back to put the zucchini pie together. Okay, so we're back now. This is segment 3, and we are going to put our recipe together. As you can see, I have shredded my zucchini. I shredded a lot of zucchini. And I finished chopping my onions, and these are our large prep bowls. Our prep bowls come in 3 sizes, and they're really great for when you want to lay out your ingredients. I have my Parmesan cheese in our small prep bowl. Now, normally I demonstrate grating the Parmesan cheese, but as I said, I usually like to buy my own cheese from my own house, and I grate it all at once. But this is what I would be using. This is our microplane grater. We have 2 of them. This is the fine grater. We also have a coarse grater. Your cheese is going to go right in here. You've got a clear plastic that'll push it down. It attaches, and then you're just going to run it like that. And it's a great tool to have. And I'm going to set this aside. It also comes with a cover as well. All of our sharp tools come with guard covers. So I preheated my oven to 350, and now it says to grease your pan. Now I'm making this in a stone, so normally I would not have to season the stone if it has been used, but this is the first time I'm using this as well. Again, very excited to be using this piece for the first time. So I need to season this. The first 4, 5, 6 times you use a stone, you want to season it so that it absorbs the oil, and it will eventually become naturally nonstick. And the key to the stone is, the uglier the stone is, the more nonstick it is. And the nice things about these stones is the outside's always going to stay beautiful, and your inside will get nice and seasoned. So I'm going to take my kitchen spritzer. Now this is an old kitchen spritzer. This is the model before the one that we just had. The kitchen spritzer has been discontinued, but I do understand that they are revamping it, and it will be available hopefully in the next line of products. But I will take my kitchen spritzer and I'll spray. If you don't have a kitchen spritzer, all you're going to do is you're going to take a little bit of oil, and you're just going to pour it into your pan. And get the bottom of your pan nice and well oiled. And then you're going to take your silicone basting brush, and you're just going to brush it all around the sides of your pan. I need to get the sides of my pan done very well too. Okay. The thing I love about the spritzer too is no matter how you hold it, the oil always comes out of it. Unlike some aerosols, if you hold it upside down. So I like to brush up and out of the pan, so I make sure all of the oil from the bottom gets up the sides, just in case. And again, I'm going to do this for the first 4, 5, maybe even 6 times that I use the pan, depending on what it looks like. The other thing you need to know about a stone, I'm going to set this aside for a moment, is that you cannot use soap on your stone. And I know that puts a few people off, but what I do want to tell you about is that even though you can't use soap on the stone, you can get it really well cleaned with baking soda. And I don't have my baking soda right in front of me right now, but simple Arm & Hammer baking soda, you use it like soap. I put some in my pan, I run the water into it, I soak it for about 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes, and then I just clean it with a sponge or with a brush. And it cleans as good as the soap will clean it, but it will not penetrate into the stone, and you're still going to keep that seasoning in your stone. So now we're going to move on, and in my mixing bowl I've already broken my eggs. Now again, I'm doubling the recipe, so I need 8 eggs. I'm going to take my stainless whisk. I'm going to shout out to my cousin and tell her, look which whisk I'm using, and she'll understand what I mean. I love the stainless whisks because although we do make whisks for every purpose, and every whisk does have a purpose, this is your all-purpose whisk. It's the largest of our whisks that we make, and it just, the consistency you get, can you see over the top, honey? Let me move this. The consistency that you can get, just, you can't beat it. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside for a moment. I didn't take out a plate to set this aside with. Okay, then I'm going to put, I want to put all my liquid first, so I'm going to put my oil. And my oil I measured in our Easy Read measuring cups. Hon, if you can go over the top of that. The Easy Read measuring cups are great because instead of taking the cup and doing this, trying to figure out how much is in it, you're just going to set the cup on a solid ground. You're going to fill it up to the line inside, and it's a perfect measurement every time. So again, the double serving is a cup of vegetable oil. You can use canola oil. You can probably use olive oil as well. I'm going to mix this up again. And bear with me, the one thing I forgot to pre-measure is my biscuit. So we're going to measure that right out of the box. And I need 2 cups of that. So I'm going to use my nesting measuring cup. The thing I love about these is that they're narrow, so you can get right in wherever you have to go. And I actually have a measuring cup in here. That's how often I use Bisquick. We're going to get our 2 cups of Bisquick out. And that's what's great about these measuring cups. You can get right in. And we do have a tool that does this, but I'm a very hands-on cook. So there's one. It's so easy when you can just put the measuring cup right into your box and you can measure and you don't have to worry about the cup filling. And I'm just going to put a little bit more because I think I was a little off on the top there. So I'm just going to eyeball it, put a little extra. And I'm going to set that aside. Now I'm going to move from my whisk. I'm going to move to my mix and scrape. And my mix and scrape is one of my favorite tools, and it gets everything off the side, so when you're mixing, you put everything together. There's something I want to show you too. If you look at this, you see that logo, the Pampered Chef? That logo is from 15 years ago. I actually have another one right here. This is a brand new mix and scrape. So you can see the difference in the logos, and we even have a newer logo now. That's how old this is, and it works great. There's no peeling, there's no movement, there's no breaking or tearing. Little discoloration from my hands using it, but for 15 years, I'd say that's pretty good. So I put my vegetable oil, I put my baking mix, I'm going to add my cheese. Now our small prep bowls are exactly 1 cup, and I need 1 cup of Parmesan cheese, so that's going to go right in there. Now what I was going to do when I was going to pre-measure everything was I was going to use my measure-all cup. So I want to show you what that is anyway. The measure-all cup does liquid measures like this. You can see you pour in there. And it does solid measures on this side. So you push this down. And had I used this, I would have filled this up with my Bisquick and I would have just pushed it right in. And there would have been very little mess. And the reason I always stress this is because people tend to mix up liquid measure and solid measure. And although there's a little bit of a variance, there is a variance, there is a difference. So when you're cooking like this, if you don't mind more or less of something, it's fine. But when you're baking, you really need to be precise. So you need to put your liquid in a liquid measure. You need to put your solids in a solid measure. So now we've put our Parmesan cheese. We're going to add a teaspoon of marjoram, which I have already laid out. And if you want to lay everything out, Al, if you can get down here, these just stack so you can put your ingredients in them and just set them upright. So this is our marjoram. We needed 2 teaspoons of parsley, but this is dried parsley. So I did a 1/2 tablespoon, which is about 1.5 teaspoons. Okay, and again, mixing this all up. Black pepper to taste. So we're just going to put as much black pepper as you think your family would like. My family is not huge on black pepper. So that's what we're going to put. Okay, so now that that's all mixed up, I'm going to add my zucchini. I do want to get, actually want to get my Bisquick a little bit more. Now, I put extra zucchini in here also because we like our zucchini pie mostly zucchini and very little egg. There are some people that don't like it that way. Now, I'm going to do half and half. I'm not going to mix it all at once because I want to make sure that I am soaking my entire zucchini. And now we're going to put the rest of the zucchini. Once I know that all the zucchini is going to work, and we're just going to mix that up until it soaks up. But again, mostly zucchini. The egg is just a binder. The egg in the Bisquick is really just a binder. Now, if you like it looser, you can absolutely make it looser. It's entirely up to you. And what I like to do at the very last minute is I just like to throw a little cream in. I use half and half. I use fat-free half and half, but I just put a tiny little bit just to give it a little more creaminess. It's not in the recipe. You don't have to do it, but I just do it to give it just a little bit more creaminess. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you how to put some of these in the brownie pan, and we're going to do the rest of it in our pan. Okay, so now we're just going to put everything in our pans. So, and by the way, I noticed on the break that I had forgotten to put the onions in, so rest assured I had put my onions in and they are all stirred together. That's the great thing about a Pampered Chef kitchen. We are not professional cooks. We make mistakes like everybody else. Had I not put the onions in, I would have had to figure out a way to compensate for it, but thank goodness I remembered. So what I want to do is I want to show you the versatility of our brownie pan also. So I'm going to make my pie in my big pan. I'm going to make my bread in a loaf pan, but I'm going to make 6 of each in the brownie pan. So we're going to do that right now. And I'm going to take my medium scoop, which gives you just about the right amount. And I'm going to take my mini mix and scrape, and I'm going to use that just to kind of catch what's dripping. It's still going to be a little messy, but it happens. But if you can see, Al, if you look right in there, you can see that the medium scoop will give you just about the right amount. You want to fill your cups about 3/4 of the way full, because there is Bisquick in here, and it is going to rise like anything else that has any kind of baking soda or baking powder in it. So we're going to fill 6 of them with the zucchini pie, and then we're going to fill 6 of them with the zucchini bread. So, and then, you know, I just want to get a little extra zucchini in some of these. And make sure they're all filled up nice, and they look great. Okay, so here we are. We're about 3/4 of the way full on all of these. Okay. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when I cook, as my daughter will tell you. And then I'm just going to clean it up a little bit so nothing cooks on the top. Now, I just want to tell you that I did also oil my brownie pan. I am not a fan, as anybody who's ever done a show with me will know, because of how I do my shows and how I season my pans. I'm not a fan of non-stick cook spray. It's got a lot of chemicals. It wears away at Teflon. It's not one of my favorite things. So I don't use non-stick cook spray. I use my kitchen spritzer. I just dropped that. I use my kitchen spritzer, and I just use my brush, and I just put everything in with the silicone brush. I brush it through. If you are a person, my daughter's facing something else. If you are a person who likes non-stick cook spray, you can go ahead and spray the brownie pan with non-stick cook spray, but do not use it on your stoneware, and please do not use it on our executive cookware, because it will wear away the Teflon. So now I'm just going to pour this into our baking pan, and what I love about these mixing bowls is the hole right here that I can get my thumb into, and I can get a good grip on it. So I'm just going to pour it right in. I'm going to use my mix and scrape to get as much out of there as I can. Get all my zucchini out of there and everything. And now this is just at a good place where it'll rise enough that it'll come not quite to the lip, but almost to the lip. Now I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to get ready to do our zucchini bread, and then we're going to put everything in the oven together. Okay, so we're back with segment 5, and I have everything laid out to put together our zucchini bread, which is the second half of our huge zucchini recipe. And this is a really cool recipe for me to show you a lot of our measuring vessels, because I have a lot of things that need to be in the same size cup or spoon or whatnot. So first we have our large prep bowls, which hold 3 cups, and we need 3 cups of flour and 2 1/4 cups of sugar. So I measured into this. I also have a lot of flour all over me because my daughter and I had a flour fight. So that's how that goes. So a lot of flour came on my apron. But anyway, we needed 2 cups of zucchini, which we have in our medium prep bowl, so which measures 2 cups. We needed a cup of oil, which is a liquid measure. And then I needed a teaspoon, can you see that, babe? I needed a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, 3 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 3 teaspoons of vanilla. So we have our nesting teaspoon, and then we have our 2 adjustable teaspoons. The largest measure on the small one is 1 teaspoon. The smallest measure on the large one is 1 teaspoon. And these are great because if you look at them, you can just adjust this to go up and down, and it changes the 1 spoon into the size you need. Then 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon, so I have a tablespoon of cinnamon, and I have a tablespoon of vanilla, but I have it in our Easy Read baby measuring cup, and you can see the measurement right on there is 1 tablespoon. So my eggs are already in here, so we're going to start by adding everything together. So we're going to beat our eggs again with our silicone whisk. And then we're going to put our oil and our vanilla. So we have all our liquid items in the large bowl. And we're going to mix that up real good. And another thing this whisk is great for, it's got wide pieces on it. So when you're mixing something with sugar, it gets through it really well. That's why I call it my all-purpose whisk. Okay, and now we're going to put that aside for a second. And then we're going to mix our dry ingredients. And I'm going to grab my strainer because our dry ingredients, they want you to sift. So we're going to put our flour. Now, I don't use sifters, and that's what I did before. And I'm not even going to stop the tape because you know what? This is my kitchen and this is real. And if I were a professional chef, I guess I wouldn't make mistakes like that. So we're going to put all our dry ingredients into the small bowl. Okay, so we're having so many issues tonight filming, so I apologize for that. My daughter's video camera cut out, so we had to change phones for the camera. So I'm going to pick up right where I left off. We are going to call this segment 6 because segment 5 cut off. So you'll understand when you get to this point in the video. Anyway, so we're putting all our dry ingredients. I actually almost picked up the zucchini, but we don't want to put that in. So our baking soda, our baking powder, our cinnamon, and our salt. And I wanted to, don't know where it went. I am using our Pampered Chef cinnamon. I had it right in front of me and it disappeared. Anyway, our Pampered Chef Cinnamon Plus blend is what I'm using with this because it's a great blend to use. It's got allspice in it and it's just better than using regular cinnamon. It's got a lot nicer taste. So we're just going to mix our dry ingredients, as you can see. Yeah, pay attention. Okay, and then the recipe calls for sifting. Now, as I started to say before we cut out, I don't really use sifters. I don't like them because I end up looking worse than I look right now. But what I do, when something has to be sifted is I'll take my small strainer from Pampered Chef and I'll just kind of do this and I'll sift it through. Okay, and I'll just run this through just to get it a little bit of a better consistency. Just to get it. Okay, and that works out fine. And then we're going to add our dry ingredients to our wet ingredients. I'm going to mix this up a little bit more again. And we'll see how much more flour I can get on me. And you always want to mix the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients, not the other way around. The reason for this just has something to do with how well it mixes. I don't know why, but I can tell you that it does mix much better when the wet ingredients are on the bottom. So now it tells you to beat it very well. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take out my electric mixer. I'm going to beat this until it's a good consistency. Then we're going to add our zucchini, and I will be right back in segment 7 to put it all together for you. Thanks. Okay, so now we're ready to put this in the pan. And again, the medium scoop is going to make the perfect device to get it into your brownie pan, because there is baking soda and baking powder in these, so they are going to rise. And this smells so delicious, and it's not even cooked yet. Now, when I made this, it came out, the batter came out a little bit thick, which happens sometimes. I don't know why. So when that does, I just put an extra egg in the batter, and it comes out extra moist and really good. It depends on the consistency, so you might need to do that, you might not. So now, again, the wells are filled up. We want them about 3/4 filled because we don't want them to go too far over. Okay, and then that takes care of the brownie pan. I'm going to put a little more in this one. It's just like cooking in your own home. Nobody can make up their mind, right? Okay. So we're going to put this off to the side. I want to put them both in the oven at the same time. Now, this is my bread pan. I do not have to season my bread pan because I've been using this for a couple of years now. So I'm just going to pour right into my bread pan. Okay, and now the recipe calls for says it makes 2 loaves. I made 1 loaf and I made 6 brownie size pieces. So this may be a little bit much. I'm not scraping everything completely out of here because I'm a little afraid that it'll rise too much. So I can get a little more out of there. So I'm not going to do the clean scrape of the pan that I usually do because I want to make sure that it doesn't bubble over. So now my oven is on 350. My zucchini bread takes 40 to 60 minutes. My zucchini pie takes 30 minutes. So I'm going to put the zucchini bread in first, and then in 30 minutes, I'm going to put the zucchini pie. I'm going to pop the zucchini pies out. I'm going to pop... I can't talk tonight, folks. I'm going to pop the zucchini pies out, and then I'm going to leave the bread to cook for the entire time that it has to cook, actually. So I'm going to set this all up in the oven, and then I will be back to take everything out. I'll be taking things out in increments, so I'm going to show you the finished product. Hi, so we're back after all the fun that we had over the last couple of segments, and I just want to show you what we've accomplished with that huge zucchini that we cooked. And here is the finished product of our zucchini pie, nice and golden brown on the outside and on the top. And also what we did in our brownie pan, because you can do miniature versions of anything in the brownie pan. So these are our baby zucchini pies and our baby zucchini bread. And I'm going to ask my husband to follow me. We have still in the oven a loaf of zucchini bread, another brownie tin of the zucchini bread, and we have our stoneware muffin pan, which unfortunately has been discontinued, but this is full, and 2 more baby loaves. So that was what that huge piece of zucchini made. So if anybody ever gives you anything like that, you can absolutely find so many Pampered Chef tools to help you use them, because sometimes these things go to waste, and you should never let anything like that go to waste. So I hope you had fun watching this. My daughter and I had a lot of laughs doing this, and as you can see, we are not professional chefs. We make a lot of mistakes. We have a lot of fun. I had to take off my apron because it was completely full of flour by the time she got finished with me. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful, and I will be available with the recipes if anybody would like to see them, receive them by email. So you guys have a great night, and talk to you soon. Bye.